My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Look around you. Look within you. How many of us are carrying a burden that feels too heavy? How many of us are staring at a closed door, a broken dream, a diagnosis that shakes us, a financial mountain that seems impossible to climb? We all have our impossible. It's that situation where logic says no, where the numbers don't add up, where the doctors have no more answers, where the heart touch feels eternal. It is in these very moments at the precipice of despair that the most powerful force in the universe is waiting for you to activate it. That force is not just hope, it is not just positive thinking, it is Imaan, a firm, unshakable belief in LAH. The very notion of the impossible is a human invention, a boundary drawn by the limited ink of our own understanding. We look at a situation and we assess it based on the resources we can see, the time we have calculated, and the strength we feel we possess. When these elements do not align to form a solution, we stamp the case closed and label it impossible. A debt that our salary cannot erase within a lifetime becomes an impossible weight. A disease that medicine has no name for becomes an impossible diagnosis. A heart shattered by betrayal or loss seems impossibly broken, beyond the repair of time or talk. We stand before these giants, these monolithic problems, and we feel small. Our vision contracts until the entire horizon of our life is dominated by this single, insurmountable wall. All we can see is the cracked, unforgiving stone of the problem. We touch its cold surface, and we feel its immovable reality. We spend our days measuring its height, tracing its edges, and lamenting its existence. Our prayers in these moments often become faint echoes against this wall. We ask for help, but our plea is tinged with the resignation that we are speaking to the unyielding stone itself. This is the natural state of the human heart when it faces what it cannot overcome. But the radical, life-altering shift that faith demands is this: to tear our gaze away from the wall and to fix it upon the master architect, the one who created the very concept of a mountain and for whom leveling it is but a single, effortless command. This is the essence of the first keynote, a fundamental reorientation of our entire being from the problem to the problem solver. It is not about denying the problem's existence. The wall is still there. It is not about a naive wish that it will magically disappear. It is about changing the focal point of your reality. The wall is a creation, but Allah is the creator. The problem is a circumstance, but Allah is the controller of all circumstances. When you truly internalize this, your perspective undergoes a seismic shift. The wall no longer seems like the ultimate reality. It becomes a temporary test, a mere backdrop against which the majesty of divine power is about to be displayed. This shift is the birthplace of a profound and unshakable peace known in the heart of a believer as sakuna. This is not the fleeting calm of a quiet moment or the false peace of distraction. This is a deep, resonant tranquility that settles in the soul precisely when the storm is at its fiercest. It is the peace that Prophet Ibrahim A.S. must have felt as he was catapulted into the fire. He did not see the flames as his end. His focus was so utterly on Allah that the command, "O fire, be coolness and peace upon Ibrahim," was a natural outcome of his unwavering focus. His reality was not defined by the fire, but by his Lord. Similarly, when Prophet Musa stood with his people trapped between the charging army of Pharaoh and the raging sea, the panic of the Israelites was a response to the two possible obstacles. But Musa's focus was different. He said, "No, indeed with me is my Lord, he will guide me." He did not deny the sea or the army. He simply placed the reality of his Lord above their reality. His focus was on the problem solver, and the sea was parted. This is the practical application for us. When the diagnosis comes, the first and most natural reaction is terror. The second human reaction is to drown in a sea of medical journals, statistics, and worst-case scenarios. But the reaction of fear, man, is to feel that fear, acknowledge the gravity of the situation, and then consciously, deliberately, turn your heart and say, "This illness is a creation and you are the creator. You are the healer. My trust is in you, and whatever outcome you decree, I know it carries a wisdom my heart may not yet comprehend. This does not mean you abandon treatment. On the contrary, you pursue it with the conviction that you are now using the means that Allah has provided, but your ultimate reliance, your core source of hope and peace, is not in the medicine alone, but in the one who gave the medicine its properties. This is the miraculous internal change. The problem that once screamed at you from every corner of your mind begins to lose its voice. It is still present, but it is no longer omnipotent. The anxiety that once tightened your chest and clouded your thinking begins to recede, not because the situation has changed, but because your understanding of power dynamics has been revolutionized. You begin to understand the depth of the Quranic verse. Unquestionably, by the remembrance of Allah, hearts are assured. The remembrance here is not a robotic recitation. It is the active, continuous recentering of your consciousness on Allah's attributes, Al-Qadir, the all-powerful, Al-Hakim, the all-wise, Al-Wakul, the ultimate trustee. When your focus is on the problem solver, your entire approach to the problem transforms. You stop praying from a place of desperate begging and start praying from a place of confident expectation. Your dua changes from, "Oh Allah, if you can, please help me," to, "Oh Allah, you are the only one who can, and I await your help with certainty in the way that you know is best." This is the difference between seeing Allah as a possible helper and recognizing Him as the source of all solution. This internal shift from the crushing weight of the impossible to the liberating embrace of divine capability is the first and greatest miracle. It is the miracle that happens in the silent, unseen chamber of the heart. It is the recalibration of your soul's GPS from the dead end of the problem to the infinite horizon of Allah's mercy and power. And once that internal miracle takes root, it becomes the fertile ground from which all external miracles can grow. For a heart that is truly connected to the Creator of all causes is itself the greatest cause for a miraculous change. The concept of faith, or Imaan, is often misunderstood as a passive state of being, a quiet internal agreement with a set of principles that one pulls out for comfort in times of distress. It is seen as a spiritual blanket, something to cling to when there is nothing left to do. But this is a profound mischaracterization that drains faith of its true, transformative power. True Imaan, especially when directed toward achieving the seemingly impossible, is not passive at all. It is a dynamic, energetic, and expectant force that propels you into a state of purposeful engagement with the world and with your Creator. It is the bridge between the world of divine possibility and the world of human action. To believe in Allah for the impossible is to enter into a sacred partnership where your role is not merely to wait, but to work with the unwavering certainty that your efforts are being divinely supported and that your prayers are being divinely answered. This is the very essence of Raf Tawakkul, a trust in Allah that is so complete it fuels relentless effort, not excuses for inaction. Consider the story of Prophet Muhammad as a Sadaboyo and the Battle of the Trench. Facing an overwhelming army, the Muslims did not simply sit in the mosque and pray for victory. Their Imaan was active. Upon the suggestion of Salman al-Farsi, they embarked on the breaking labor of digging a massive trench around Medina. They swung pickaxes under the blistering sun, their hands blistering and their bodies aching, all while the enemy force gathered on the horizon. Their prayers were not separate from their digging. Their digging was an act of prayer. Each strike of the tool into the hard earth was a physical manifestation of their trust in Allah's promise. They were not digging with the desperation of those who feared failure. They were digging with the confidence of those who knew that their success was guaranteed by Allah and that this labor was the means through which that guarantee would be fulfilled. They believed Allah for the impossible, a victory against a force 10 times their size, and their belief was a verb. It was a belief that sweated, that strained, that built, and that persevered. This is the model for us. When you are praying for financial relief but do not actively seek new skills, send out job applications, or work diligently in your current role, your faith remains incomplete. It is like a farmer who prays for rain but never bothers to plow the field or plant the seeds. His prayer is a wish, disconnected from the system of cause and effect that Allah has ordained in this world. Active Imaan is the farmer who prays with all his heart for rain, and then with that same conviction picks up his plow and prepares the soil under the clear blue sky, fully expecting that the rain will come at the appointed time to bless the seeds he has faithfully sown. His action is his trust made visible. This active faith is also profoundly expectant. It changes the nature of our dua. A passive believer makes a supplication and then anxiously scans the horizon for the exact result they have pictured, their faith wavering with every passing day that their specific demand is not met. An active, expectant believer, however, makes their dua and then goes about their work with a heart full of anticipation, knowing that the answer is on its way. They trust the postman so completely that they do not stand fretfully at the mailbox. They live their lives in the joyful certainty that the delivery will arrive, and they prepare their home to receive it. This expectation is not for a specific, self-designed package, but for the perfect, wise, and benevolent response from the all-knowing. It is the difference between saying, "Oh Allah, give me this specific job," and then despairing if you don't get it, and saying, "Oh Allah, open for me the door of provision that is best for my faith and my life," and then expectantly pursuing every lead, trusting that the right one will be unlocked. This expectation banishes the poison of desperation from your efforts. When you work from a place of desperate anxiety, your energy is frantic, scattered, and easily broken by setbacks. You are working from a place of lack, a lack of trust, a lack of power. But when you work from a place of active, expectant faith, your energy is focused, resilient, and creative. A setback is not a sign that Allah has abandoned you. It is merely a redirection, a closed path that your guide has sealed because a better one is being prepared. You can pivot, you can adapt, and you can continue with a heart that is light, because the ultimate responsibility for the outcome does not rest on your shoulders alone. It rests with Al-Qadir, the all-powerful, who is partnering with you in your journey. Your labor is the vessel, and your faith is the invitation for Allah to fill it with His boundless grace. This is the powerful, dynamic engine of change, a heart that believes so fully in the impossible that its hands cannot stay still, and a soul that waits not with passive hope, but with the active, joyful, and certain expectation of the miraculous.